Good morning.
Good morning.
It is a nice chilly morning outside, but we get to work inside the shop today. And we are working more on our custom walk-in cooler. We bought the main part of the walk-in cooler for $300 off of Facebook Marketplace. And it has been a bit of a challenge to get it to where it's at now, but it's coming out good. I think we got most of the hard part done. I'm not gonna say we got all of it done because I still think we got a few hiccups we need to work through. And Gina thinks the guy I bought it from is probably laughing.
I mean, he might be.
Saying I got $300. So we got the walls all up. I got our subfloor down, and there's like 4 inches of foam on top of it, and then there's another layer of plywood, and we got to figure out where our drain is going. But the hard part has been these sidewalls. The corners are all part of the big part. They were not a 90-degree angle. They were probably like a 110-degree angle. So we had to pull them in, and that wasn't easy. It was kind of a struggle. They're not perfect, but they are a lot better than they were. So now we got to figure out where we want to put our floor drain and make sure we're not going to drill into a floor joist. And then we can get that done before we finish putting the rest of the floor down. Brutus loves it in here. Come on, get in. Otherwise you're going to be in my way.
I'd much rather him be in there without floor down.
So now I want to mark. I guess I want to measure.
Oh, he's always trying to give you kisses like me.
Aww. 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 You want to be right in the middle of everything. I know, sir. I know. You can't help. You want to draw? Yeah, you can't do that. You have paws.
He said, I'll take that pencil, though.
Yes, I know this is straight. So 80. All right, so let's find center to here's 88 inches, so we'll go 44 inches, and that will not land on a floor joist, which is perfect. I think that's where we want to go, is center.
I mean, that would make sense, I think.
It would make sense. I might go in the center of this bay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that way we have plenty of room for our piping.
Yeah, and maybe keep it more away from the doorway.
Yep, and then 64, so 32. And then this should be 15 and a half, so it'd be 7 1/4. We're gonna be doing a floor drain, so that way if any gook gets in the walk-in cooler, we can clean it out and hose it out whenever we need to. We plan on using it for hanging meat when we butcher animals, when we butcher chickens. If we have a lot of them, we need to cool them down fast, we can put them in the walk-in cooler. If we have abundance of produce while we're harvesting stuff, we can stick everything in the walk-in cooler, so there'll be plenty of uses that we can use it for. I'm sure when Gina gets her flower garden that she wants to be able to do cut flowers, she could always store flowers in there too. So I'm sure it's gonna have plenty of uses. So what I wanna do is have this pot sit on the base under the plywood, and then we'll have a hole and we can screw this down from the top. And then you'll just have that little lip. And then actually, yeah, you'll just have this little lip, and that will most likely be hidden in the flooring. So yeah, that's what I want to do. So we need to figure out what hole we need for this.
The big one.
That one will work perfect. I like that. So this big one will work for the base. This one will be perfect for our threading spot. So what I'll do is I will drill our center countersink hole through the plywood, get the hole going with this one, and then we'll take the plywood out, and that way we'll be right where we need to be. The other thing we'll be using this for is when we're curing meats. If we want to cure our own meats, we can use this so we can do a bunch of meats at once, because when you're curing them, you got to put them in a brine and let them sit for sometimes up to a week, depending on what you're doing for a cut. And if you're doing a lot, it really fills up your refrigerator. So this can be refrigerator temp. And then we can just let everything sit in here, and we can come out here, flip our bacon, whatever we're curing. That'll just make it so much easier. If we want to do a brine and we want to brine a bunch of chickens, if we're doing like a big roast one day, or if we're doing like a pig roast, if we wanted to brine it, we'll be able to have all of this to store everything in.
Well, now that we're all hungry.
I know, right? That was my shoe that squeaked.
Yeah, right.
I guess we gotta stand it up this way. I'm gonna spray it with some PB Blaster. I know it's not the correct oil to use for cutting, but it's better than nothing. Now I know where I can spray. I think we're gonna have to just drill out 1 or 2 holes, and then we'll use our Sawzall to cut through that before we just destroy our hole saw bit. And then I'm thinking we can just drill a smaller hole through for a 2-inch pipe, as long as we got the right depth there. Let's vacuum this out first, and then we can see what we're dealing with. Thank you. So it's gonna sit up a little bit, which is kind of a bugger.
Yeah, you don't want something to be tripping on it.
No, so what I'm thinking is,
Plus, if you're trying to get something out of
I
the
guess
floor.
we do have to make the plywood hole the thickness of this. And the plywood will sit around it, and that other cap will go through our flooring.
You almost want it to have like a little...
Right. So we can drill that hole through the plywood, and then we can also grind it and bevel it, so it's tapered to it. Got it. We're through all the way. Oh, I like it. And I don't see any, I can't stick my hand down there, but there's no metal bracing in our way or anything, so that's perfect. Yeah, we could grind the nubs off, but then it still has some. What I'm thinking is maybe we'll flip it over because this is the good side. We really can't do that easy. I was trying to think if there's a way to notch the plywood and leave the top layer, but there really isn't. Not a good way. I want to give it a quick little taper around here, so if we get water right there, it doesn't pool up sitting high, it'll flow down in. So I'm just going to go like kind of like a little bit of a 45.
I just opened the door just to look out, and I wasn't expecting to see this snowfall. It's like big, huge snowflakes. Oh.
All right, what do we need for a height? 3¼ inches. All right, so we'll rip down a 2x4. We'll put that here so we have something solid on to walk on. And then maybe we'll cut it, we'll make it work. Then we can put out plywood and make sure everything's gonna work good. Then we can fill all this with great stuff, then put this in. And then we can get all of our plywood down and glued in place and screwed. Rip down my 2x4. That'll be the filler strip. All right, so I'm gonna take this little piece of plywood out. We're gonna put liquid nails down for glue over the whole floor. We're gonna get this little piece in, and then I'm gonna start great stuff in this to see how it fills up. Then we'll put the big piece in. I'll probably drill some holes into this, and we're gonna grate stuff all of this, and then all of these gaps to get it sealed up nicely. There, now we got plenty of support, so if we come up here, we're gonna have a ramp, so if we come up here with a wheel truck and it's heavy, we only got 5 inches before you're on another solid floor, and that'll all be full of foam. So yeah, I think that's gonna be perfect. Don't get goop on yourself, Al. All right. Now, let the fun begin. We have a lot of great stuffing to do, but we want the insulating value, and that's why we're using great stuff. If this doesn't work well, or if it takes way too much, we do have Roxwool insulation we can stuff this with, and you can use Roxwool insulation because Roxwool insulation will breathe. You can't use fiberglass. Insulation doesn't work with a walk-in cooler, but Roxwool will. All right, let's see. I'm actually impressed with how far we got with 1 can. I'm thinking 3 cans will do it. So let's get that filled up. We'll get this filled up pretty good, and then we'll put the plywood in because we'll have time. It's expanding slowly. Two down. I think one more will do this space. Three cans, did it.
I'm not going to tell you what it looks like. And do you think it was going to take originally?
I was thinking like 4 or 5. I got over 10 the other day because I also want to be able to go in the back because there's a gap where the floor meets the wall. That'll be perfect. I can't believe how nice putting the plywood down makes it seem so much nicer.
I don't know why it would with all that grossness. I was over here and I'm like, what the heck? I felt like I saw a cat out of the corner of my eye. It's because it was the great stuff falling off onto the floor. So there's plenty of great stuff in there. The 3 cans were more than enough, it looks like. But it is going out just like sourdough. It's like a good rise.
Well, that floor ain't going anywhere. That is good and secured in there. Glued and lagged into our floor joists 4 inches below. Foam coming out everywhere. I like it. So last year, when I bought the walk-in cooler, I came back and I sized it up to see what size air conditioner I'm gonna need to hijack. And when I was online looking for the ones I needed, I looked up to see what I could find, and they were either 75% or 80% off. I wanna say it was homedepot.com at the time, because it's the middle of winter like it is right now. So we got the air conditioner very cheap, so it's been sitting in storage for almost a year now. So we got to take it out, figure out what size hole we need to make in the cooler to get this to work. And we want to get the hole all made before we get the inside finished.
So we just walked into the shop and Al goes, did you see the foam? And then I saw it and then I was laughing. You have to see this. Brutus, that's crazy. It has poured out so much.
I just got back from Lowe's. One of these days, I gotta buy some stock in Lowe's because I'm there all the time. I know the stock's gotta be going up and up. So I had to get some filler for the floor, some other random little parts and pieces while I was out. And the big thing is I wanted to see what they had for kind of like a little bit of a different style drain. This is the same, but a little different. It's got a little bit of a bigger base, and we can screw this base down. So I want to see if we can get this to work better, and then we can adjust this to the height we need.
Maybe you can just start your own store.
Maybe. I would have to trim it out. I'm trying to think of a way to cut it out beforehand. But that won't be today's project. I'll think about the best way to do that. I think we sealed it up nicely. It's still gooey in the center.
Oh, really?
Yep. I go pretend I'm a Highland cattle. I just need one more.
What was in your coffee this morning?
I can stick it to me. Put it right in my ear.
I need it straight on. Can you show me straight on?
I wonder what country would think if I went up there and was like,
Well, he wouldn't care if you had a treat. That one doesn't look like a horn, so you can only have one.
I know. I'm gonna be lopsided. Stuck to the floor.
I figured it was better to let it get like that than to try to pick it up when it was gooey.
Yep.
Maybe not.
Now it'd pop off easier.
Oh.
I don't have any more horns.
Man. There's a small horn.
Yeah, but it's not even the right shape. All right, so I gotta find center, which is 32 inches right there. And then I wanna come down a foot from the top is what Coolbot recommends. So if we come down a foot, mark 32.
reminds me of the dentist.
That's what I was thinking.
You were?
Like when you get a cavity drilled.
I mean, I've only had one in my life, but.
All right, guys, I want to know, when you go to the dentist and get a cavity filled, Novocaine or no Novocaine? I don't do Novocaine because I hate the way Novocaine feels when it's wearing off. I think that's worse than getting a cavity drilled. All right, so now I can go the other way because we're not deep in there. Yeah, I gotta go through the other way, but I got a hole all the way through.
Gross. Wow.
Hello. This side falls right on a 2x4, so this will be perfect for our header.
Now it's stuck. Careful. Sharp.
There we go.
Aww.
Thinking the best option I have for cutting out this circle is the grinder.
Wow.
It's gonna get a little smoky. It's a little unconventional, but that's the story of my life. We're making a Cheech and Chong episode today, I guess.
I don't even know what that is. I don't think this is a good idea.
I told you that'd be the better way to do it. We're gonna do a little more customizing. So the bottom of this is pretty thick for our bolts to go in. So what I'm gonna do is set this in place. And then I'm gonna drill center holes where those are. Then I can take a bigger drill bit and drill that down. And then this whole thing will be able to sit in and recess in. And will be below the plywood. Now we need to fill some cracks. We got cracks around the edges, and I'm gonna fill them with some like tile floor stuff. So that way we don't have like a low spot if we have water in here that's sitting on the edge. We gotta do this before we waterproof the floor. And we had to kick Brutus out so he doesn't try playing in it.
You know what you need? A baggie.
Oh, like a little pastry bag.
I was gonna say you have to make it look ugly before it looks really pretty, but there was nothing pretty about this cooler in the first place. So anything that we've done so far has already made it look good. So all this extra gunk and stuff, it actually makes it look better. Wouldn't you agree?
I would.
I never thought a plywood floor was so pretty.
Right. Oh. Do I have any pee?
What are you doing?
I'm checking out my drain. I'm gonna take it back, or I might cut it some. And then I think we'll be able to, if we wanted to, run the pipe all the way out to here. But if we didn't do it now, we could later on in the future when we have it where we need it. So that way we could plumb it and have it drain where we need it to drain. So I'm using a sweep 90.
Because we had it.
Right, it's a electrical sweep 90, which it doesn't matter. Conduit, it's PVC pipe. Probably a little bit more expensive, but they make them in sweep 90s. So that's actually perfect. Get down below the floor, and then we can have our drain. I want to cut it back a little bit. I'll mark it because it's sticking down a little bit too low. It's not hitting the ground, but I'd like to have it up more closer to the 2x6s.
Yeah, because what if you were dragging it and then you got a
Right.
root or a
Exactly.
rock?
And then we can have it in there, and then later on we got a flare end. So all we'd have to do is glue up a PVC pipe, shove it in, and then we can have it coming out wherever we need it. That's gonna have to be perfect. Or like 2 inches off the floor, but we can't go any higher because we'd hit the floor joist with the 90. So it's gonna have to be good.
Oh, you just dripped on the floor.
Oh man, good thing it's a workshop. My plan was to get back into the workshop once that floor filler dried and get the plywood all waterproofed and all the bottom edges nice and waterproof, but that floor filler is taking a lot longer to dry. And yeah, it's that time for bed. So this is where we're gonna end this video. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homestead. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and we'll see you right back here in the next video. Bye.